Okay. 5 minutes before we go live.
No, I don't want your love, no, I don't want your love, no, I double cut my cut, yeah, I fill it up with mud, yeah, she say that she love me, but I know she don't get no fucks, yeah, every time I leave a crib, she know it's going up, yeah, like she wanna hang with the game, but she cannot, cause she know what's going on, I love that perk and that juice, but I had to stop, cause that was just way too strong, once I get all my money, I'ma go back, and I'ma just right my wrong, I had to let you go, cause if I did not still be holding on, like all those times I was tripping, I don't know why, I should've let you go. Mixing the weed and the liquor like I'm so hot. Baby, just let me smoke. Money was all in my pants, but I ain't even want it, so I put the shit on the floor. Like I had that gun on my hip in the club, I ain't tripping, like I'm just let it blow. You wanna tell me I'm tripping, but I ain't never tripping. Like, baby, I'll tell you the truth. Like, I don't want no hoes. I was in the club outside with my niggas like Lil and Drew. She don't pop me a perk right before I fuck, so she like I feel it too. And she got a nigga on the side, but she ain't gonna tell me, cause she know I kill him too. Ace my bitch in a minute, I come back and fuck her, like, why they so fucking different? She wanna tell me she celibate for the whole time, but baby, there's something missing. Bro said he just hit a bitch from Georgia. I said, where you from? His bitch say Texas. Put two and two together, then I sent my bro the picture. He said, you know I hit it. Monkey racing, I don't think no more. Like I might pass away. Finger itching, I just wanna shoot. I'm tryna blast the drain. Sit down, lean and smoke just while I'm driving. I might crash away. Clean running all throughout my body. I don't act this way. I don't want your love, no. I don't want your love, no. Don't cut my cup, yeah, and fill it up with mud, no. She say that she love me, but I know she don't get no fuss, no. Like every time I leave her, cause she know it's going on. Double my cup, I need coding, I drink coding. Why do I feel this way? Whenever young nigga hungry, I'm getting that money, I might get a meal today. And put the food in my tummy, I tell me a prayer like I'm off the pills today. I'm sipping on lean, I'm back on the block, like baby, I'm chasing the thrill today. Like I don't want your love, no. I don't want your love, no. Double cut my cup, yeah, and fill it up with mud, oh. She said that she love me, but I know she don't get no fucks, no. Like every time I leave her crib, she know I'm going up, oh. I don't want your love, I don't know how to love. I just wanna know, but I can't even know. How you wanna know, when you don't get no
All right. About 2 minutes to the show. 2 minutes to the show kicks off. All right. Welcome to week 3. Game Time Prep Podcast. Got my big dog Jay Swizzle in the house tonight. What's up? Coach get busy. Under the weather tonight. We wish him a speedy recovery as we talk about this week's contest. This week's game. Coach Jay Swizzle, talk to me. What was the shock of the week?
The shock of the week was Taylor County beating Wakulla.
Come on, man. Talk to me.
Man, nobody expected that to really happen. Nobody expected Taylor County they come out and do their thing and beat them, but they got the job done. They won 27-20.
Man, look, I don't know what's going on. I told y'all at the beginning of the season, man, they had a great coach over there, and that I thought they were going to be able to make some things happen. I did not see them beating Wakulla this year. Did not see them. What, they're 3-0?
3-0.
3-0. 3-0.
Oh shit.
We're gonna see what that does to the rankings for them, but I did not see them um, being where they are right now, man. My hat goes off to Taylor County, that whole community, man. You know, I read something saying that that victory came on the eve of the hurricane a year ago, man, and so that's big for that community. That's big for that county. That's big for those players, man. Those players that were displaced, you know, after that storm, man. Some of those kids left, went other places, but for those kids that did come back home, man, and believe in that coach, believe in that system, man, my hat goes off to them and that program, and I wish them the best, man. I wish them well throughout the rest of the year. I'm a Bulldog fan right now, man.
They look like they're trying to make their way back in.
I'm a Bulldog fan, man. I'm rooting for them now, man. Let's see what they can do. You see what they got next?
Next, they got Dixie County.
Dixie County, okay.
Dixie County, yeah. So
I'm rooting for them, man. Hopefully they can make some things happen, man. For us, you know, the game of the week was Lincoln and Madison.
Yeah.
And Madison, man, you know, Madison looks good, and Madison did their thing, man. But
they held out the first half. First half, you know, they went into the first half. I think it was 10-7 by the end of the first half.
Hey,
and
Lincoln,
they came that second half. They had to turn it up a notch.
Lincoln rolling, man.
Yeah.
Lincoln rolling. So it's gonna be interesting to see Lincoln, man, and see how they continue to roll throughout the season. I think that's another undefeated program. So it's gonna be exciting to see Lincoln, man, and how they continue to roll throughout the year, man. So it's right now, man. I mean, you got what, 3 undefeated teams in the area?
Yeah, I got a couple.
You got Rick. That's undefeated.
Gaston,
Lincoln, that's
undefeated. Taylor County,
Lincoln and Taylor County,
and McClay. McClay's 2-0.
Come on, man. Stop playing with
McClay's
me,
2-0.
I can't do this with y'all.
McClay's 2-0 right now.
I can't do this with y'all.
McClay's 2-0 right now.
McClay went over to Ireland and got a win, and then brought that thing back to the States, man.
Back to the States.
Still
doing it.
They ain't playing, man. They ain't playing. So that's good stuff, man. Let's talk about Rick, man. Rick and what was that? East
Side. Rick, they had 130-23.
Look, man,
winning drive.
Rick was up in that game at the half, big, man, and they allowed them guys to come back and get back in that game, man. It just couldn't hold them, but they closed it out, and got the dub, man. But you know, Rick, they got a contest. They got a contest coming up.
They got a contest. They play Mosley.
Listen, Mosley's a great ball club, man, and it's gonna be interesting to see how that game goes. It's gonna be real interesting to see how that game goes. I watched Gabi and Leon, man.
Leon just I don't think this ain't gonna be the season for Leon.
Listen, man, I will say this. I did not think that the Leon that we're getting is the Leon that we're gonna get. Now, granted, they got some injuries, they got some bumps, they got some bruises. But man, I watched the Leon team pretty much lay down against Gabi, man, before the half, and you know, I was out on the sidelines with a couple guys, man, and we all kind of looked at each other after Gabi had a pick 6, and we were like, man, this game is over with. And honestly, I did not see Leon, you know, really fight back in that game, man, and you know, and that comes to talk about the Gabi Cougars, man. I mean, that team
they're really
loaded.
trying to show. Yeah,
listen, man, they're loaded. They're physical. They're fast. You know, they got a really good coaching staff,
and they got a good contest this week,
man. Listen, this is going to be a good game, man. You know, Gaston, which is 3-0. Gaston beat the number 2 team in Tennessee last week. You know, they've shown to the community, they've shown to everybody, man, that they're real. That they're a contender, and you know, it's gonna be crazy to see who wins that division.
Yeah,
man,
it's gonna be real
with Gaston and Florida High, and you know, those guys. So it's gonna be interesting, man. But I'm gonna tell you, I like what APG's doing over there, man. I don't know if they're gonna have enough tools in their toolbox to stop Gaston and what Gas is doing. They're big up front on both sides of the ball. That quarterback is doing a really good job. They got some really good coaches over there, man. So it's going to be interesting to see what they do against Gas. Man, you talk about a game. Florida High. Florida High went up to Thomas County, man. TCC, man, and that's a great program.
Yeah.
You know, I mean they've done a really good job with that program, man. And once again, when you're talking about Georgia football is just it's dominant right now, especially in that North Florida, South Georgia area. Georgia football is real good right now, but Florida High went up there, man, and hung in there.
Yeah, for the first part, they win it, but I will say Thomas County has a Lincoln like Deuce, their running back. He came from Lincoln. He was supposed to be Lincoln's star running back this year.
Did he run all over Florida High?
He ran all over Florida High. I'm talking about ran all over them. So I mean,
it's gonna be interesting, man. I mean, when you start talking about Thomas County and Colquitt and all them teams up there, man. And what I've seen is I've seen a lot of our teams in this area go play teams up in that area, man. And they're they want to get the contest, man. They want to go play some good football, and so they're going up there and they're playing those teams, man. And which is good, which is good. I mean, it gives you an opportunity to play some of those big boys and those fast kids on the outside, and so that's what you're gonna see if you make yourself you make your way down the state.
Yeah.
You're gonna see that. Everybody down south is big, physical, and they're fast. And so you're gonna have to play those guys, man.
Yeah, it's still a debate which state got the best football, but
man, Florida.
We gonna get at the Florida
hands down, man. I got some guys that think South Carolina got some good football. Got some guys think Louisiana got some good football, and of course, Cali. They always have some,
Cali, Texas.
When you look at the numbers, man, Florida is by far we produce more athletes every year in the NFL. We produce more athletes every year in college. I think Florida's that. But yeah, man. So for us, when we talk about athletes, man, we talk about game of the week. Man. I still think that that Lincoln and Madison was the game of the week. But when you talk about player of the week, man, I'm gonna say the quarterback at Gabi, man. What was his name again?
Lazarius Chambers.
Man, listen, that kid there is dynamic. I mean, he's dynamic, man. I watched him play, and for us, man, I think he's gonna be our player of the week. He is a dynamic ball player, man. He did a great job in leading the Cougars to a win over Leon, and he's gonna have to step up and play ball this week, man.
Yeah,
he's gonna have to play some big time football this week against those Jaguars up there. And
I mean, I feel like for that game, I say Gabi cannot go down big. They can't go down big like they did versus Rick.
Yeah,
but they have to stay in this game if they want to win.
Well, they got to control the clock. They got to hold on to the ball, man. They got to march the ball down the field, and I think they can do it. They throw the ball well, they run the ball well. They got some big guys up front, so I think they can do it. But man, I'm interested to see Gas and play, man. I mean, I haven't got a chance to really see them play. I watched a little film on them, but I really want to see them play. You and Coach get busy, man. Y'all went to the JP2 game on Thursday. Talk to me.
JP2, I mean, they played Providence. Providence is a good football team. I mean, their players, they're not real big. Like their playmakers. Look. Their playmakers are not real big. Like they had their running back number 22. He's like 5'6", 5'5" at most, and he's just running all through. Like he's just street speed running all through JP2. Their offense, they had a big couple blown plays. I mean, but them as a team, it's their JP2's not. They got a lot more to put together because Providence they was just having their way with them. Like Gavin, their quarterback, he's overthrowing wide open passes. Their offensive line wasn't blocking. They couldn't run the ball. I mean, they were getting 3-4 yards, but third down comes. It's like they fumbled. They got the ball, got to stop, fumbled, gave them the game was over. I mean, they lost 35-18. This wasn't the same team versus Leon that they played, but this wasn't.
And it's amazing how that happens, man. You have a team that get up against a team like Leon and go out there and win the ball game, man, and then come back the next week, man, and lose to a team like Providence. And, not taking anything away from Providence, I think, like you said, I mean, it's a good ball club. I think they're 2-0, 3-0.
Yeah, I think they're undefeated.
Yeah, so I mean, they definitely a great ball club. But at the end of the day, you look at a team like JP2 and you think, man, hey, they might be on to something with them 22 kids.
Mm-hmm.
But then you lose that game to Providence, man, and then the rest of your schedule from there, man, it's a tough schedule.
It's gonna be real. It's gonna be real wicked tomorrow.
You got Lincoln coming up. You got IMG. You got Rickards. You got McCullough.
Yeah, you're gonna have to come play.
You got a tough schedule in front of you, man. So I don't know. I think what we thought we were gonna see with JP2, man, is kind of coming to an end. I think you're gonna hit a brick wall. I think you're gonna have some big time games coming up. The biggest thing you can do now is just stay healthy.
Yeah,
stay healthy and get to the playoffs, man. Because I mean, you pretty much got yourself an automatic win in the playoffs against FAMU High. Unfortunately, I think there's still a goose egg on the board.
Yeah,
kind of what we thought, but I think really and truly you keep yourself healthy. You get through FAMU High and you find yourself in the playoffs, regardless of what your schedule looks like. So we'll see how JP2 kind of fares the rest of the year, but they got a tough schedule in front of them, man.
Yeah,
tough schedule. Just like Leon, man. I feel like Leon is pretty much in the same boat. They lost a bunch of guys, man, to some injuries early in the season.
Yeah, their main one, their quarterback is
I really killed them. Yeah. So they lost those guys early in the season, man, and they got some tough football still yet to play. So I just best thing they can do is kind of get healthy and hope to rebound and maybe have a win here and there to kind of
at least get a win in the book.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting. So man, so let's we got Mark coming on, but we can't not talk about the elephant in the room. We can't not talk about the elephant in the room. What about them? I mean, I don't even know where to start.
I don't either.
I don't even know where to start.
I don't know. I mean, it's looking at that game versus Boston College. It just looked like they didn't even want to win. Like they didn't even want to. Like we got linebackers missing, leaving wide open players. Tight ends can't make wide open catch. I mean, DJ looked worse. He looked worse this game than he did last game. I will say he went the first half. First off, let's bump the first half. The first quarter, Boston College had the ball for 14 minutes.
That's called controlling the game.
I'm talking about they had the ball. By the first half, it was 17 minutes to our 2 minutes, and I don't know how we let that happen. I really don't. But it's like they just didn't want to win. I don't know. I don't know what it is. They got a bye week this week, so they got a lot of things to.
So what you're telling me is they got to win this week.
They got to basically versus. I mean, after this bye week we play Memphis, so we got to tighten. Something got to change. Something got to do better.
Hey, speaking of, my man Mark's on the line. Mark, can you hear me?
I can hear you. What's going on? Can you hear me?
What's going on? Yes, sir. We can hear you. So we kind of hit on the elephant in the room, man, with Florida State and Boston College. Give me your take on it.
I don't know if that FSU stands for Fraud State University, but that's not the same team that's been out there the last even 2 years. Last year and the year before that, 21 yards rushing. I mean, I get it. The quarterback didn't play well, but you win in the trenches. You can't win You can't win a football game 21 yards rushing. Against and Georgia Tech and Boston College are not defensive line powerhouses. There's a problem with their play calling. There's a problem with what they perceive is effective, and it starts with the coach and starts with the play calls. That's what I said earlier. I don't understand why they don't take what made DJU successful in Oregon State and bring some of that here.
But so the question is, I mean, when you look at what he did in Oregon State and the type of defenses he played against, I mean, is it the same? Is there a true division between ACC, SEC play, Big 10, Big 12? Is there a true division? I mean, defense is a lot faster. I think your D line's a lot bigger, a lot faster. I mean, is there that much of a divide, or Is it just he? I mean, because when you really step back and look at it,
You can't.
when he was at Clemson, he got benched.
That's what I'm saying.
Right, he got benched at Clemson. He had one. What do you have? One good season.
Yeah, they went 11-2 with him. They went 11-2 with him. Huh?
So I don't know. I don't know.
He still played Washington, who was in the Final Four last year, and Oregon, who only lost 2 games, and both of those games were to Washington. So he played them. I mean, those are good teams. They were good teams in the Pac-12. I know the defenses might not be enough to win a national championship, but those teams get there. They can't beat the Big Ten and the SEC, but they get there. He did something right last year, and he just has no confidence. You can see it this year.
There's 100% no confidence in him.
Yeah.
And honestly, I don't know that there's confidence in the team with him because, as a tight end, the tight end dropped what three passes?
Not five,
but three were wide open. I'm talking
one
wide open passes. And to me, that tells me that you're not confident in the passes that you've been getting in practice, and you're definitely not confident in a game time situation. So, it's surprising when the ball gets there. That's what it looks like to me, But I don't know. But it can't be just the quarterback.
But it's
play.
not.
How many rushing yards you had?
21.
21 rushing yards. Like, that's a problem.
What was Florida State's record 2 years ago?
10-3.
Okay.
So 10-3, 13-1. And they're going to struggle to make 500 this year if they keep DJ in the game.
Yeah, right now we got 1% chance of even making the college playoffs.
So you're not going to make the college playoffs.
No, they're not going to make the playoffs. They can only make it one of two ways, and both of them are ridiculous. The first one is going at large. That's going to be impossible because they already have 2 losses, and they still got out of conference Notre Dame and Florida on their schedule, and Memphis doesn't matter. Or win the ACC. And the reason that's so difficult is because we're not even going to talk about Miami.
Hold on,
for them to win the ACC, Georgia Tech and Boston College would have to end up with 3 losses.
Yeah,
they both don't end up with 3 losses. That's not mentioning Clemson or Miami.
I was just going to say you still have to beat Clemson
or Louisville. Yeah, that's not mentioning them. They wrote us home. I wouldn't want to be in FSU. But they were talking about the other day. They said we're not even at September 4th, and that season is over.
And their season is over with. Somebody told me they literally lost 2 college playoffs in 3 games.
Yep.
They've been shut out of 2 college playoffs in 3 games. And so, with that being said, man, I think that this is going to have to be a rebuild year. They got to be able to have that conversation amongst themselves as coaches. And then they got to be able to keep this team together because we all know that the portal is real. Just like they gain some guys in the portal, they can lose some guys in the portal. And so for me, that's gonna be the task now in keeping this team together. Norvell, what he's gonna have to do is he's gonna have to go old school. He's gonna have to get some high school guys in there and build a program. Yeah. Norvell was the portal king. He did a really good job of getting kids out of the portal. It backfired on him. And now you really have nobody to lean on. You really don't have a quarterback to come in and help you through the season. You know what I mean? So
what about those? Didn't he bring kids from Georgia and Alabama out that portal? What are they doing?
He did too. He brought Rydell Williams, a running back, which only had 21 yards. And then he brought from Georgia, Marvin Jones, and he's really not even doing nothing on defense. I don't know.
Yeah, it's gonna be a challenge. It's gonna be a huge uphill battle. But to me, I think the way you salvage your season is you have some real hard conversations amongst your coaching staff, and you have some real conversations with the team, and then set some real goals. Let's turn this thing around and go 500. Let's set some real goals because you can't be unrealistic, and you can't go out here talking about you're gonna beat Miami and you're gonna beat Florida and you're gonna beat Clemson and win the ACC. You can't be unrealistic like that, man. When you're losing against not just losing, but getting drummed against teams like Boston College, and not taking anything away from Boston College because I think they did a really good job. But you got out coached and you got outplayed, and so therefore you got to really figure some things out. I'm gonna say it. I'm a huge Gator fan, man, and we got our butts handed to us against the Miami Hurricanes, man. Y'all did a phenomenal job. Mark, I know you're a huge Hurricane fan. You guys did a phenomenal job, man. You outcoached us, you outplayed us, you outbanned us, you out supported us. I think you did everything right, man. And is you back? I don't know. I can't tell you, but I'm gonna tell you this: that dude Cam Ward is the truth.
Yeah,
That kid is the truth, man. I mean, he made it look like men amongst boys, and I don't think the kid broke a sweat the entire game.
Here's the biggest thing that you can take from that game. A couple years ago, when we opened up against Bryce Young in his first season at Alabama on national TV in the first game, we got embarrassed. We got embarrassed. I think it was 38-7, 38-10. We got embarrassed because Alabama's offensive line was 6'5", 6'6", 6'7". These guys were huge. They controlled the line of scrimmage. We couldn't do that. Miami, when they fired Manny Diaz and brought Mario Cristobal in, Mario Cristobal's national champion with Miami, of course, offensive lineman. He went and said, hold on, we're going to get this right. We're going to get this right in the trenches. And that's why that offensive line, and that's what I was saying last week, they're going to wear down Florida. People don't realize what they've done to that offensive line. That offensive line is big and they're strong, and they know they have to win in the offensive and defensive lines first.
100%. I'm gonna tell you that I did not realize how big and physical that they were gonna be.
Yep.
And they were, on both sides of the ball. I mean, Florida had some spurts here and there. But honestly, man, I mean, Miami controlled that game from the beginning to the end. The one bright spot for us, DJ, man, I'm gonna tell you, I think the kid has a future. If we can find a coach and an offensive coordinator, I think that kid's gonna have a future, man. If not, we'll lose him in the portal. Sometime after next year, we'll definitely lose him in the portal because the kid has all the tools to be a great quarterback, and I think he's gonna be that, man. I just hope that we get to see him develop and not somebody else.
He's out of Texas
right here.
Say that again.
He's out of Texas.
Yeah, I think he is out of Texas. He was the number one dual threat quarterback coming out of the state of Texas. So, kid has wheels. I mean, he throws the ball well. But for a true freshman, this kid's a true freshman, and he came in and had some great plays against Miami. I wish we would have seen him a lot earlier. I hope the best for Graham Mertz, man. But at the end of the day, man, we need to bench him or he need to go out a little earlier so we can really see what we have, man. And but right now, I'm excited to see him play next week. We got nothing to lose. The one thing we need to lose is Sunbelt Billy. I think it's time for Sunbelt Billy to go, man. I really do. I think we've done the experiment. We've did all the right things with Sunbelt Billy, but it's time for Sunbelt Billy to go.
Where was Billy before? Western Michigan? No,
Louisiana, somewhere over there.
That's right.
Yep. So I mean, it's at the end of the day, man. These guys take these big programs, and you got to have the right coaching staff around you. You got to be able to come in and you got to be able to call plays, man, at that level. And you really don't know what you're getting yourself into until you get there, And
Right.
he got himself into something that he really couldn't get himself out of. And, Florida State's seen it, Miami's seen it, we've all seen it, and we're going through it, man. We're going through it. Hey, man, one of the things I asked you guys, and we'll talk about it again right now. What happened to the state of Florida? You talk about three teams that were at one time always in the top 5, top 10 in the country, right? I mean, Florida State, Miami, Florida. The national championship came through the state of Florida. What happened to the state of Florida right now to where, Miami's leading the state for us, and we hopefully they'll hold on. But I mean, there's really been a time where all three Florida teams, man, have been just non-existent. I mean, how does that happen when 90% of the best athletes come out of the state of Florida? I mean, how is it that we cannot maintain or we can't hold these kids at any of our state programs anymore?
I feel like it's probably the coaching. Like for instance, Nick Saban. He's always been a great coach. Their recruits are seeing these coaches and how we're because the Florida teams they've been losing coaches. Like for instance, Florida State they've been back and forth. We just settled in with a coach, and like how Florida they're probably going to get rid of Billy if he does bad this season. These other teams they're consistent with their coaches. Like these coaches are staying and keeping the system, and they're perfecting it day by day, night by night, and they're doing good. And recruits are seeing this, so they want to go to those programs that are consistent with the wins.
I don't know.
I know Miami wasn't putting enough money into the program.
Yeah.
So that was an issue for a while. Then they were choosing. He's right. They were choosing poor coaches. They weren't able to find and develop the quarterback, because if you don't, your program typically goes as your offensive line and your quarterback goes. And Miami just wasn't able to do that. Not to mention when his SEC schools started winning, I mean, that drove a lot of the kids from Florida to these schools, because I know Miami specifically didn't have the money to keep some of these kids at home. And this is before the NIL, when we know what was going on. Before there was an NIL, before there was a legal NIL.
Correct. Yeah, no, I agree. And so, now of course, Florida State is building. Miami's built. Well, I don't know. Miami's still kind of, they've done a couple things, but they don't have a home stadium and things like that. But they've done a great job in the portal. Florida's built some stuff over there. Hopefully, we'll get to a point to where we start keeping kids home, man, because it's hard to watch, man. It's hard to watch all three Florida teams struggle like they've struggled over the last couple of years, man. I mean, I'm ready for that dynasty to come back to where, when you talk about national championships, when you talk about top tier programs, it has to come through the state of Florida. And we just hadn't been that. We hadn't been that over the last couple of years. Colorado, man, what do you think?
I feel like at some point they're gonna get humbled. I mean, yeah, they have a great team. I'll give you can't take it away from Travis Hunter, Shador, but at some point, just like last year, they're going to get humbled. They have their heads too high, in my opinion. I think they held their heads too high to a standard where they feel like they're the best in the world. But at some point, they're going to play a good team and they're going to get humbled.
Do we start having the conversation about Travis Hunter being the best player in college?
Athlete-wise, yes.
No, not even athlete. Well, I mean, for him to do it on both sides of the ball, he is.
He's like in a row. Yeah,
he was Charles Woodson when he won the Heisman, when he played offense and defense. Is the only cat to do that. It's him.
Only cat to do it. Man, listen, I watched that kid. I watched that game, and I'm gonna tell you, I don't think he even got winded. Like I saw
this 2 snaps.
Like I saw this kid run up and down the field on both sides of the ball pretty much the entire game, and I never saw him get winded. I mean, it amazes me that he has that type of ability and that type of stamina to be able to do that. But not just do that, but perform on both sides of the ball. It's somebody's going to get a really good football player in the league, man, and I hope he stays healthy because he's going to make a lot of money. Not like he hadn't already done that, but he's going to make a lot of money, man, in the league, and I wish him well, man. Mark, talk to me. What else you got, man?
So just trying to figure out. I always feel that I've been saying this for years, that preseason rankings are just they're nonsense. They're a farce. They're just that. They're based on whatever the team did last year. It shouldn't really be counted this early. So when people say it's an upset, is it really an upset? I mean, we know a lot of teams, Florida State in particular, lost a lot of players. Who else? I'm trying to think. Well, I know Ohio State did lose players, but they replaced them. So there's a lot of teams that are different, but a lot of these upsets to me aren't upsets. They're upsets on school names only.
Yeah.
When you break down the paper, these teams may be better. When we come back at the end of the year, Georgia Tech has a better record than Florida State, then we know that wasn't an upset. And I think that's going to happen. There's got to be a way for people to objectively look at it and be like, oh, it was an upset. It's that team. It's that team. This team hasn't even played together. And especially this portal, 15, 20 guys. Miami's kicked out. Excuse me. Miami has lost. Let's be political. 45 players to the portal in 2 years. And guess what? They all needed to go.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, I think Colorado had the biggest flip-flop with 50 something players, something crazy. But when you talk about upsets, man, let's talk about an upset that just still sticks to me, man. They had Virginia Tech kind of picked to win the ACC. Some people picked them to win the ACC, and then they ended up getting beat by Vandy. Like, was that an upset, or was that like?
I'm thinking that that's an upset.
Yeah,
because even if it was at Vanderbilt, Virginia Tech, like you said, was widely regarded as in the hunt for the ACC, and I went back and looked. I can't find anybody that had Vanderbilt any higher than second to last.
Yeah.
In the SEC.
Yeah. Yeah, and once again, that goes back to the portal, man. I mean, you grab a couple kids, man, and that can turn your program around. A couple kids that can come in and play right away.
Yeah.
That can turn your program around. And they gave Vandy, man. They gave Virginia Tech all they can handle, man.
Mhm. I mean, they almost came back. I think they were down like 13.
They went to overtime. I mean,
Yeah.
Vandy could have won it on the field goal, and it ended up going into overtime, and Vandy ended up winning the ball game. But at the end of the day, that game shouldn't have been that close.
It shouldn't have.
That game shouldn't have been that close, man. Man, what was I going to say? Oh, and then of course, your reigning champions and your probably your best team in the last decade, Georgia Bulldogs and your Alabama Roll Tides. Georgia did exactly what we all expect them to do, is to steamroll. They were a slow start, but they finally got their wheels on them. But Alabama, man, I mean, everybody was wondering what Alabama was going to do, losing Nick Saban, losing a lot of those coaches. I think, I talked to a huge Alabama fan, and he made a comment that this may be the best coaching staff that they've had since Nick Saban had Kirby Smart and Lane Kiffin and all those guys on the sideline.
Really?
What's your thoughts on that?
I mean,
go ahead.
I mean, this may be but they still, if they're trying to win something big, they're still going to have to play Ohio State and Georgia. Ohio State, they have a freshman. This is his first year in, and so does Alabama. Ryan Williams. Both of these freshmen. Ryan Williams is 17 and he's showing out. Jeremiah Smith, he's doing the same thing, but they're still going to have to play these big teams. I mean, yeah, they played. I mean, who did they play? Fresno or something like? Not Fresno. I forgot. They played some team, but they're still going to have to play these big teams.
It was. Yeah, but look at it this way. Alabama may be able to sneak into the 12 without ever having to play Georgia.
Yeah,
so
that is true.
They do that, and realistically, if they don't get to the SEC championship game, they might not be 5 through 8, but they may not have to beat Ohio State and Georgia. And I still need to see Alabama in this Ole Miss against Ole Miss, because I'm very high on Ole Miss out of the SEC West.
Yeah,
I went to their bowl game last year. Very high on them. So I need to see what happens with Alabama, Ole Miss, and Texas is in the East, correct?
Yeah, we cannot forget about Texas A&M. Texas A&M, they got a couple of things to fix, but they look real good too.
Notre Dame pulled that out, right?
Yeah, Notre Dame pulled that out the last drive, but Texas A&M, they were in that game the entire game, back and forth. It's a couple of things, they need to fix, a couple corner spots, but they still do look good.
I don't know, man. I just don't think you can count out the Tide, man, and I think they're bought into what Caven's doing over there, and I think you're going to see. I mean, they're still getting the top, those top players in the country, along with Georgia. I think you're going to see them late in the playoffs. Will they have enough to push their way up to say the top 5? I don't know, but at the end of the day, man, I think you're going. I really do think you're going to see it.
I mean, because realistically, the SEC probably gets 4 teams, no less than 4 teams in that 12. No less. I mean, Georgia, Texas, Alabama, Ole Miss. Who else?
Not the Gators.
This not women's volleyball. I mean, it's probably going to be 4, maybe 5 if someone sneaks up. I mean, I want to see Tennessee. I know they play NC State actually up here in Charlotte this weekend. We talked about going. We're not sure yet. But I want to see, because NC State is ranked. I need to see another ACC team beat an SEC team, regardless, because they haven't been doing well. But that Clemson-Georgia game doesn't count, because there's going to be a lot of teams that get blown out by Georgia this year. But so Clemson is fine.
Clemson was in it in the first half. They were down. Georgia's is good.
It was slow, but it was a slow first half.
Clemson's defense is excellent. They don't have any. Klubnik is not good. Their offensive creativity isn't good. And just to give you a number, there were 4 teams in college football Division I last year that did not accept a player from the transfer portal.
Yep.
They are Navy, Army, Air Force, and you can guess why, and Clemson.
Yep. Yep. At
Only
some
key.
point, he's gonna have to start looking at that. I mean, I get it. You want to do it the old-fashioned way, the traditional way, and
Correct.
and build a program. But at the end of the day, man, you got to be able to pull some of these Jimmys and Joes in that's got some experience that can come in and help you fill some gaps right away. And
Yeah.
and that's what the portal was for. For guys that were maybe sitting on the bench that had wanted the opportunity to go play somewhere else, and and it changed a little. You got guys that are high caliber guys that are leaving and going to places and playing right away. And I think Clemson, one way or another, they're gonna have to find themselves in the portal.
Yeah.
Or they're gonna have Dabo's head because you can't continue to go year after year after year not winning the ACC, not getting into the playoffs, and then it's all because you will not get guys out of the portal. You can't do it.
Mhm.
Right.
Can't do it. Who's the game of the week for you, Mark?
I mean, it's
I
not.
got Texas and Michigan.
So I saw that, and I know people are hyping it as two top 10 teams. And listen, I want the Michigan head coach to win for obvious reasons,
Yeah.
but that team has replaced a lot, and I'm not sure that Michigan doesn't get out of this season with less than 3 losses. So.
Yeah.
I think Texas won in Alabama last year and beat them by 10. I think the same thing happens here, and it's not going to be close.
Yeah, Steve's done a great job with that Texas program, and that Texas program's on the rise, man. I mean, they got more money than they know what to do with out there in Texas, and so they can get the best of the best. They can get the guys that they need to get, and I think he's done a really good job of that, and I think that program's on the rise.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think it is going to be the NC State Tennessee game, just because they're both hungry and they both know there's teams ahead of them that they need to beat, even in their own conference, but they need to establish a foothold. But I think it's that Tennessee NC State game is going to be exciting.
Yeah. So, well, my man Jay Swizz team, they'll get a win this week, man.
Yeah, here we go.
They'll get a win this week. They play BYE.
We got some things to tighten up.
They'll get their first win this week, man, playing BYE, and so we hope for them the best, man. Maybe DJ Ugly can throw a touchdown pass this week.
Yeah.
And but nah, man, I hope they get that thing worked out over there, man. I mean, Mike Norvell's is a great guy. I've had several opportunities to sit and talk with Mike, and he's a great guy. But right now, man, they're in trouble. They're in trouble trying to figure that program out.
Who do they
Mark,
play? Who do they play next week? Not this week, but next week. Is that Memphis?
Memphis.
They got Memphis.
It's old school.
They got Memphis, man. There's a lot of animosity with that game, man. And where's that game at?
I think at Memphis.
Ooh, and it's at Memphis.
I think it's at Memphis.
Ooh, yeah. And I don't know if Memphis and Florida State's ever played, but I could pretty much go on record saying I don't think Memphis has ever beat Florida State, have they?
If we play
yeah. So I can tell you, man, they're probably practicing real hard right now. To win this game, man, because that's a statement game for them. That's a statement game across the board, not just for the players, but for the front office, man. If they can beat their old coach, it's gonna be interesting. But Mark, man, as always, man, we appreciate you for coming on, man. We're gonna wrap up this high school week with our top 10, man, and we'll do it again next week.
All right, thanks for having me on. I'll see you then.
Yes, sir.
All right, go Canes.
Go Canes! I hear you.
All right.
Later. Hey. Jay Swizz, give me your top 10 for the week.
All righty, so my top 10, it kind of changed after this week. I'm not gonna lie, it did change after this week.
I'm sure.
So number one, still holding strong. I got Lincoln up there at number one. They're still holding strong.
I got you.
Number two, I got Rick. Got Rick at number two. Got Rick. Well, I think last week they was at number 3 last week. Yeah.
3.
Yeah. Number 3, I got Gaston.
Okay.
Got Gaston.
Well, I'm talking about they leapfrogged a bunch of people. Did you even have them on? I don't even think you had them picked last week.
They was at 4 last week. They was at 4 last week.
Missed them last week.
Yeah, no. That was a pill I missed last week. That was a pill. At number 4.
Should have missed them, though. They got beat by Taylor. I don't know about that.
At number 4, Gabby.
Okay.
Yeah, I got them
APG.
Yeah, got them Cougars. Number 5, this probably gonna strike one. Taylor County.
Man, listen to me.
I mean, Taylor County done
Never didn't think I'd see it.
Nobody thought they would see it, but I got Taylor County at number 5.
Yeah.
At number 6, I got Wakulla at number 6. I got Wakulla at number 6.
I got you.
They still got a couple more wins in their book.
I believe that.
At number 7, I got Florida High. You know, they still got some things put together. I don't think they might win this week versus Hawthorne, but I got them at
Florida High. I'm gonna tell you, man, they've played some really good ball clubs. You know what I mean? So you know they've been in some games, but they play some really good ball clubs, man. To where it's tough. You know what I mean? You know when you're used to playing those games and you have the caliber athletes that they've had over the last couple of years, and you want to continue those type schedules, man, and you're in a rebuild year, it's tough, you know.
Yeah.
So you kind of make those schedules a year or two in advance, and unfortunately, you know, Florida High stuck with a pretty tough schedule, man, and they're gonna have to fight through.
Yeah. At number 8, I got McClay.
Okay. Hold on.
I got McClay at number 8.
So McClay jumped JP2.
Yeah.
Leon.
They jumped Jeff.
NFC.
No. Wait, let me look at my last week.
Jeff Cole.
They were ahead of JP2, Leon, and NFC. They were already. Yeah,
McClay? Okay.
Yeah, they were ahead of them all. So they ain't really moved. They if we be honest, they ain't really moved.
All right.
Yeah. At number 8, at number 9, I forgot them last week. Childs.
So it's gonna be interesting, man. I really want to. You know, I'm thinking about. I think we're gonna cover that game this week. With Childs and Wakulla. Just I just don't see Childs winning that game, but I wanna cover it because I really want to see what Childs looks like.
Same for Wakulla.
You know, and same for Wakulla. You're absolutely right because we never got a chance to see Wakulla play this offseason or this preseason. So yeah, it'll be a good opportunity.
That'd be a good one.
Yeah.
And then at number 10, we got NFC.
Wow.
Got NFC.
NFC's what, 1-1 right now?
Yep, 1-1.
Man, they won a nail biter this past week, man, and you know they're small as well, and you know they got to win. You know who they play this week?
This week they play Indian Rocks Christian.
Oh, okay. They might get 2 wins, man. They might be 2-1.
Might be
2-1, man. So that's awesome, man. That's awesome. So it's exciting, man. I'm excited that football's back, man, and you know, catch us on Instagram, catch us on Facebook, and definitely catch us on the podcast, man, as we continue to do what we do, man, and hopefully this thing will continue to grow. We will one day do some live podcasts from the sideline, man.
Okay.
That'd be pretty cool. Do a little live podcast from the sideline. Maybe do some interviews at the end of the game on podcast. But yeah, that'd be cool, man. Other than that, man, what you got, Jay Swizz? We're gonna get on up out of here.
The game of the week.
What we got?
So tomorrow it's gonna be Lincoln versus JB2.
Yeah.
You know, we're gonna see that. But I say that we're probably not gonna make it. But the game of the week is probably gonna be that Gabi versus Gas.
Gas.
That's gonna be a good game to see. Or Childs versus Wakulla, the game that we might go see. Childs versus Wakulla.
Yeah.
Those that's gonna be a good one.
Yeah. I don't know. We'll see where we end up, man. We'll see which one becomes game of the week. We'll post and let y'all know. Hey, if you play middle school football, man, and you want us to come check y'all out, hit us up at the Game Time Prep Instagram, man. DM us, let us know why we should come watch y'all play, man, and we'll be there. Hey, so we're gonna get on up out of here with Coach Get Busy's remix.
Cause if I did not still be holding on. All those times I was tripping, I don't know why. I should let you go. Mixing the weed and the liquor like I'm so hot. Baby, just let me smoke. Money was all in my pants, but I ain't even want it, so I put the shit on the floor. Like I had that Glock on my hip in the club, I ain't tripping like I'm just let it blow. You wanna tell me I'm tripping, I ain't never tripping. Like baby, I'll tell you the truth. Like I want no hoes, I was in the club outside with my niggas like Lil and Drew. She wanna pop me a perk right before I fuck, so she like I feel it too. And she got a nigga on the side, but she ain't gonna tell me, cause she know I kill him too. Ace my bitch in the minute, I come back and fuck her like why they so fucking different.